chainsaw. Carry one of these around. It only weighs about 30 pounds.
Breaker, breaker, breaker. We got a 10-4, good buddy. Got your ears on?
I got Debbie T and Debbie W out of Bikini State. Going to the gateway.
This is Big Mama coming in at you, coming in.
Say you wanted to alert somebody to a hot girl in a Ford Pinto driving down I-95. The best way to communicate this would be to say, breaker, breaker.
Break 9.
I got an eager beaver in a Ford Beam on I-95.
It was good, clean, wholesome fun until, you started saying things you shouldn't be saying, and then the truckers would say, I know what you're on, won't come get you.
Urgent messages have to get out.
This is Near Monitor KWG 7731. May I help you?
I mounted an 8-foot whip antenna outside my bedroom window, and I was a moron. I spoke to other morons.
This is Near Monitor KWZ 3134. Clear and monitoring.
How lonely is your life if you got a CB radio at home and you're talking to other CB radios?
I hear you have a perfectly marvelous recipe for an unfattening pie.
I sure have, Marge.
This was America talking to itself.
10-4, 2315.
And what it heard was the voice of the people.
Coming up.
Please don't squeeze the Charmin.
Mr. Whipple shows poor impulse control.
I like to sneak a squeeze on the slide.
Squeezing the Charmin himself.
Next on the best of I Love the 70s.
I love the 70s.
Shazam and ISIS, who were two shows that used to be on the weekend that I used to love.
Shazam and ISIS. Did they ever do each other?
I thought I kept this a secret. How did you find out?
My name is Mentor. This is my friend, Billy Batson.
Shazam traveled around with his mentor, which was an old man, and I think they drove in a van.
You know what you have to do.
Hey, it's not what you think, because Billy had special powers. He could summon up the immortal gods with the one word.
Shazam! Shazam!
Shazam, and then boom, I'm a superhero.
I yell Shazam now whenever I get an erection.
You know what? I was into Shazam until ISIS.
Oh, my
She's got it!
ISIS was the coolest one of all time, and she wore this headband, and she wore this white dress, and she was sassy.
ISIS had a medallion, and every time she wanted to get her power going, she'd grab it and say,
Oh, zephyr winds which blow on high.
Lift me now so I can fly. I think that was in my Haftorah.
ISIS, you need to get off the ground faster. Because, they could have killed her by the time she, in the name of ISIS.
Ooh, ISIS. No Wonder Woman, but pretty close.
Mr. Whipple!
Back in the day, Mr. Whipple was like the original TV spokesman.
He was an older man that had these glasses and a white lab coat.
I think the lab coat must have given him dignity. Seems like Mr. Whipple spent his whole day at the grocery store just stacking the Charmin pyramid and shooing people away from it.
Please don't squeeze the Charmin.
People would squeeze the Charmin because it was so soft. And Mr. Whipple would come and say, don't squeeze the Charmin.
Please don't squeeze the Charmin.
I would have kicked Mr. Whipple's ass, yelling at me.
This squeezing must stop, Duffy.
Don't squeeze it? All right. Then I will wipe my ass with it.
Nobody could squeeze the Charmin, and yet at the end of every commercial, there'd be Whipple.
I like to sneak a squeeze on the slide.
Squeezing the Charmin himself. Practice what you preach, Whipple. Mr. Whipple had demons.
I can't resist it myself.
Squeeze it. Yeah.
Ooh, somebody sticky squeezed the Charmin.
Oh, I whippled all over myself.
It's irresistible.
Uptight.
Skateboarding. No one really could skateboard in the 70s except for like 6 guys.
I tried to stand on a skateboard back then, and I say, whoa, baby, I'm not gonna bend my hair falling off this thing.
I can feel it in the vein.
If there was like a tiniest of pebbles in the road, you were just asphalt meat face.
I fell and slid under a car and smashed my head into some gravel, and the gravel was stuck in there.
This was an era when
If you broke your ass, it was your own fault.
In the early 70s, it was more about the surf image, and surfers were skating and sidewalk surfing and hanging 10 down the street and doing handstands and things like that.
We always saw people skateboarding in bare feet, so we'd always try that. And we'd come home with scabs on our toe knuckles.
And then the whole pool era came into play, and then it was more about these punks that were willing to go into people's backyards and empty their swimming pools just for the sake of riding their walls.
Yeah, I was one of them. I was one of those troublemakers. I skated like O.J. Simpsons and Tommy Chongs, and we'd jump over their fences and skate their pools.
My first major injury skateboarding, I was doing what's called a rock and roll on the top of the pool, where you actually rock your board over the edge of the pool and then turn and come in. And as I turned, my wheels caught on the coping, and then I went straight to my face and knocked my front teeth out. And someone found me laying in the bottom of the pool.
I had a Jewish mother. She would never get me a skateboard. You kidding me? You could break your neck. You could break your back. You could break all sorts of bones in your body if you're a Jewish boy getting on a skateboard. Not at all.
Crippled, mangled kids because of these skateboards.
Dynamite. The big wheel was the most coveted toy on the block.
Yeah, man. Fun to ride and race, you know?
Big wheel on over to my house. Maybe we'll get it on.
All my friends, number no rider.
It was sort of like a Corvette for a kid. I would put the proverbial pedal to the metal.
You could build up speed on a linoleum floor and pull the brake and whip the wheel to the side, and you'd slide. Or at least that's what the commercial showed you.
Brake, and you can spin out.
Truth was, you dump out on your right arm and your forehead.
Skids, burnouts. Not only are you describing what I did with the big wheel, you're describing what I did in my underwear.
It was even more fun to tie it to a bicycle and pull it at a very high velocity, and then it would tip over and tear your flesh off. It was fun.
What I remember mostly about the big wheel is that you could turn it over and do this with the pedals, and then you would go, ice cream, ice cream.
Michael Ian Black sang about ice cream. He's just messing with you. He's a damaged young man.
Coming up.
Smokey the Bandit was created basically because in the 70s, the 55 speed law was starting to be pushed lower and lower. So in response to this, psychologically, America needed a movie about a guy who drives however he wants, and the cops can never catch him.
I don't even remember the plot.
Well, who the hell knows? I don't know.
I love the fact that they were just trying to get beer to a big party in Florida.
It seems like you can follow the letter of the law and still transport beer across state lines, even in 1977.
You know, trucking Coors beer east of Texas is bootlegging.
Burt Reynolds was the ultimate guy in the 70s.
That smile and the high-pitched laugh.
There was something about him in a car.
Burt Reynolds was 6 village people in one human being.
Classic guy.
Classy guy.
Sally Field's a tremendous actress who showed sensitivity and vulnerability.
They're not fat.
And a lot of humor.
Want a bet?
Really cute frog, they called her.
And you're kind of cute like a frog, and I'd like to jump you.
Well, I remember that Jackie Gleason is very minimalist in his performance, very quiet.
That's a big 10-4. This is Sheriff Buford D. Justice of Texas.
He's got the stupid son.
Daddy, the top came off.
There's no way.
No way that you could come from my loins. Soon as I get home, the first thing I'm gonna do is punch your mama in the mouth.
It's hard to believe that Annie Hall won the Best Picture of 1977 in the same year that Smokey and the Bandit came out. Where is the justice?